Backhand index pointing right. God is in tears, he's been trying to warn you for hours. This is your final chance. Don't scroll, listen to this, because something in your spirit has already shifted the moment your eyes landed on these words, and heaven is leaning close right now saying, pay attention, child, your heart needs this message right now, more than you even realize. You've been feeling that strange emotional pressure all day. Your chest tightening for no reason, your mind drifting into deep thoughts you didn't ask for, sudden waves of heaviness that disappear just as quickly as they arrive, and that's because God has been trying to reach you, whisper to you, nudge you, protect you, guide you, and wake you up before something shifts that you're not spiritually prepared for. Don't scroll. This message is for you, because lately you've been brushing off your intuition, ignoring signs that were meant for your protection, and telling yourself you're overthinking, when in reality you've been under-listening. Heaven says the chills you felt earlier, the dream that shook you awake, the sudden urge to check your phone, the angel numbers you keep seeing, 111, 222, 444, they weren't coincidences. They were warnings, confirmations, and divine whispers trying to pull you back into alignment. Listen to this, someone in your life, someone connected to your heart or your energy, has been moving in a way that does not match the intentions they pretend to have, and while your physical eyes haven't caught it yet, your spirit has. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now. You've been sensing something off, like the energy around you shifted without explanation, and heaven says, yes. It did. The people around you, the conversations happening behind your back, the intentions hidden beneath smiles, there's something you were not meant to walk into blindly, and God has been trying to shield you from it all day long. Your spirit has been restless, trying to get you to slow down, to listen, to pay attention, because you've been giving too much, trusting too deeply, hoping too loudly for people who have not earned access to your soul. Don't scroll. Heaven is speaking to you right now. This is personal. This is divine. This is a moment where God steps between you and the storm forming ahead, saying, I have to show you the truth before you get hurt. And the truth is, the person you've been praying for, thinking about, missing, or trying to understand has been acting out of wounds, fear, pride, and influence from the wrong people. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now. Someone whispered something about you to them. Something twisted, something incomplete, something rooted in jealousy or insecurity, and even though your person doesn't fully believe it, it planted a seed of doubt in their mind. And that doubt has been creating distance, confusion, and emotional fog. Heaven is saying, they are not acting strange because of you. They are acting strange because of spiritual interference. And God has been trying to pull you away, not out of rejection, but out of protection. Don't scroll. The chills you just felt are confirmation. You've been wondering why you feel drained around certain people, why your mood shifts so fast, why your peace feels fragile, and heaven is whispering, because you are absorbing energy that isn't yours. Someone has been thinking about you heavily, obsessively even, someone who is battling truth and denial at the same time, someone who feels guilty for something they haven't admitted yet, and their energy has been bleeding into yours. Don't scroll. Your spirit needs to hear this. Heaven says you are stepping into a season where clarity replaces confusion, alignment replaces inconsistency, and truth replaces illusion. The emotional storm you felt today wasn't random, it was spiritual cleansing, soul alignment, divine intervention. God is preparing you for something bigger, something purer, something destined, but first, He needs you awake. He needs you listening. He needs you protected. Don't scroll. Because this moment right here is where your clarity begins and your confusion ends, where heaven whispers the truth your heart has been quietly searching for. I'm protecting you because you are chosen, because you are valuable, because your future cannot be touched by the wrong hands. And everything you've been feeling is heaven's way of saying, this is your final warning, pay attention. Don't scroll. Listen to this carefully because your spirit has been waiting for the confirmation that's coming next, and heaven is saying, what I reveal now is not to scare you, but to strengthen you. You've been feeling this strange emotional heaviness lately, this sudden tightness in your chest, this unexplainable drain in your energy, and you keep asking yourself, why do I feel like something is off even when everything seems normal? But this message is your clarity. God is exposing the spiritual storm brewing behind the scenes, the one He tried to warn you about for hours, and He is saying, child, open your eyes, because what's hidden is affecting your peace. Someone connected to you, emotionally, spiritually, or physically, has been carrying intentions that do not match their words, and heaven has watched you give, love, forgive, hope, and wait, thinking their inconsistency was just confusion, thinking their silence was just stress, thinking their mixed signals were momentary, but no, listen. This was spiritual alert after alert, and every time you felt that sudden wave of anxiety, every time you felt drained around their energy, every time your intuition whispered, something isn't right, it was me, says the Lord, trying to pull you away before the damage hits your heart. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to tell you is the part you've been sensing but haven't been able to put into words. This person has been wrestling with two versions of themselves. The part that loves your light, and the part that fears your strength, and instead of choosing growth, they've been choosing comfort, choosing distraction, choosing attention from places that don't require accountability, and heaven is saying, I have tried to shield you, but your heart is too loyal to walk away without understanding. You have been in spiritual warfare without knowing it, picking up emotions that aren't yours, carrying burdens that weren't meant for you, feeling drained from battles you didn't even start, and God is saying, child, you are exhausted not because you're weak, but because you've been fighting alone, hoping someone would meet you halfway, but they weren't built to match your heart. Listen, because your soul needs this truth. This person cares about you, yes, but they have been influenced by fear, by insecurity, by outside voices, by someone whispering things behind your back, by a connection from their past that should have ended but lingered just enough to pull at their mind, and God is saying, you are not crazy, you are discerning. Don't scroll, because here comes the revelation your intuition has been screaming for. Someone recently told them something about you, something twisted, something exaggerated, something designed to plant doubt, and that doubt has been affecting how they act toward you, not because it's true, but because it hit a wound in them, a wound they never healed, and instead of asking you directly, instead of communicating with honesty, they let fear guide their reaction. You have been trying to feel close to someone who's been emotionally distant, not because they stopped caring, but because they're overwhelmed by the truth about who you are and by the lies that tried to compete with that truth. Heaven is exposing this because you deserve clarity, alignment, and emotional honesty, not confusion. Don't scroll. Heaven is saying this next part with urgency. I warned you because I'm protecting you, not punishing you. You have a calling on your life, a purpose, a divine mission, and sometimes that requires removing people who could break your spirit before your destiny unfolds. God isn't trying to take love away from you, He's trying to take away the version of love that keeps breaking your heart. You've cried quietly, given silently, hoped deeply, and loved purely, and heaven is saying, I've seen every tear, every prayer, every moment you chose faith when fear tried to take over. And now a shift is coming, a spiritual rearranging, a divine separation or a divine breakthrough, but either way, you are stepping into emotional clarity, and God is saying, child, what's leaving your life is not punishment, it's protection, and what's entering your life will carry the healing you've been praying for. Don't scroll, your story is not ending here, this is the part where heaven steps in. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal in this moment is something your spirit has been aching to understand, something heaven has been trying to whisper into your soul, and something your intuition has already hinted at through those chills, those sudden mood shifts, and those moments when your heart felt like it was warning you before your mind could catch up. Listen to this. You have been carrying emotional weight that doesn't belong to you, picking up on the spiritual struggle of someone who's tied to your life, and whether it's a soulmate, a connection, a friend, or someone whose energy pulls at you deeply, heaven says their confusion has been affecting your peace, their silence has been shaking your intuition, and their inconsistency has been draining your spirit, not because they want to hurt you, but because they are lost within themselves. And God is saying, child, you have been feeling their spiritual chaos as if it were your own. Don't scroll, because this is where the revelation deepens. While you've been trying to understand why your emotions suddenly spike, why you feel anxious out of nowhere, why your heart feels heavy even on calm days, it's because their soul has been restless, and they've been fighting a truth about you that they are finally realizing they can't outrun anymore. Someone has been thinking about you non-stop, feeling convicted, feeling guilty, feeling exposed by their own actions, and instead of facing their emotions, they've been hiding from them, hoping the distance would numb the truth, but heaven says the truth is getting louder. Their heart is waking up. Their conscience is shifting. Their spirit is in conflict because they know they mishandled you. Don't scroll, because this is exactly what heaven needs you to hear. This person didn't just make a mistake, they crossed a spiritual boundary when they entertained someone else's influence, someone else's words, someone else's opinions about you, and now their soul is paying the price. They are feeling heaviness, confusion, and emotional turbulence, not because you did anything wrong, but because God is revealing to them the magnitude of what they risked when they doubted your heart. Listen, this revelation is going to hit deep. They compared you to the wrong people. Someone around them fed them lies about you, subtle comments, twisted narratives, little seeds of doubt, and this person, in their weakness, entertained those lies. But heaven says, now they're seeing the truth. Now they're realizing your loyalty. Now they're recognizing your purity. Now their heart feels sick with regret because the truth about you is shining brighter than the shadows spoken about you. Don't scroll, heaven is exposing this. They've been emotionally overwhelmed because the person who tried to poison their mind about you has been revealed for who they really are, jealous, insecure, manipulative, threatened by your light, and terrified of the bond you and this person share. And the moment your person realized the truth, everything inside them shifted. They felt guilt, they felt fear of losing you, they felt this deep pull toward you, and they've been thinking about how to fix what they broke even if they haven't said a word yet. Listen to this. God is saying, enough. You will not carry this emotional burden alone any longer. Your spirit has been absorbing their guilt, their confusion, their spiritual discomfort, and heaven is stepping in to separate what isn't yours from your energy. You are stepping into an emotional release, a spiritual cleansing, where the weight connected to their indecision begins lifting off you. Don't scroll. Heaven wants you to understand this clearly. The reason your sleep has been disrupted, the reason you keep waking up between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., the reason you've been seeing angel numbers, 111, 222, 555, is because your soul is preparing for a massive shift, and God is aligning you with truth, protection, and emotional clarity. The person in question is going through a spiritual awakening, confronting the truth that they mishandled something sacred. And heaven says, you are not responsible for their growth. You are responsible for your peace. Their lesson is theirs. Your blessing is yours. And the next chapter of your life will not be built on confusion or emotional chaos. It will be built on divine truth, divine timing, and divine alignment. Don't scroll. This message is your reminder. God is removing spiritual fog not to push someone away, but to protect your heart from being pulled into battles that were never yours to fight. A breakthrough is coming, one that brings clarity, honesty, and emotional release, and heaven is saying, you are covered, and you are being guided into the peace you prayed for. Don't scroll. Because the moment you read this, something in your spirit is going to click, almost like a truth you've been carrying in your chest but haven't had the words to describe, and heaven is saying right now, pay attention, because this next part is the revelation you've been waiting for. Listen closely, the emotional shift you've been feeling, that strange mix of peace and pressure, of release and restlessness, is not random. It's a spiritual signal, a divine transition, a moment where God is pulling you out of a chapter that no longer serves your soul and preparing you for something that carries the weight of destiny. And the person who's been on your mind, the one whose energy you feel even in silence, the one your heart keeps returning to even when your logic tries to walk away. They are going through a spiritual battle you cannot see, a battle between their fear and their feelings, their past and their future, their wounds and their desire for healing. Don't scroll, because heaven is revealing this. Their silence is not rejection, their distance is not disinterest, and their confusion is not proof that they stopped caring. Instead, their soul is being pushed into awakening, into accountability, into a mirror they're not prepared to face, because the truth about you scares them, not in a bad way, but in the kind of way that forces someone to confront their own shadows. Listen to this, they weren't ready for someone like you. They weren't ready for someone whose love feels like peace, whose energy feels like home, whose presence makes the world quieter, whose intention is pure. You shook something in them. Not with effort, but with authenticity. And now they're wrestling with emotions they don't know how to process, because loving you requires healing they haven't completed, honesty they've been avoiding, and growth they've been resisting. Don't scroll, because heaven is saying something powerful right here. Your heart wasn't wrong. Your intuition wasn't wrong. Your connection wasn't imagined. What you felt was real. What you sensed was accurate. But you're dealing with someone who has been running from their truth, someone who has a pattern of choosing comfort over courage, someone who has spent years hiding behind distractions, behind pride, behind emotional walls so high that even love has to knock twice before they open the door. But listen, your silence lately, your distance, your shift in energy, it woke something up in them. It shook them. It forced them to feel the loss before it even happened. They are now beginning to understand that your absence is louder than their pride, that your silence is heavier than their ego, that losing you would hurt more than facing their fears ever could. Don't scroll, this next part is going to hit deep. Heaven says someone around them, yes, a real person, has been observing how strongly they feel for you, and that person is threatened by it. Someone doesn't want them to choose you, someone doesn't want them to heal, someone benefits from their confusion, someone gains power when they are emotionally weak, and this person has been whispering doubt, planting fear, feeding insecurity, because your connection lights up a truth that exposes everything fake around them. And now your person is starting to see it. They're waking up to who's been helping them and who's been holding them back. Don't scroll. Because heaven is warning you with love, do not chase. Do not beg. Do not shrink yourself to make them comfortable. Their awakening is happening because you pulled back, not because you pushed forward, because you chose peace, not pressure, because you finally prioritized your worth over their confusion. And God is saying, child, this season is not about proving yourself to anyone. It's about allowing me to reveal who is truly aligned with your spirit. The storm they're experiencing is not your burden to carry. The battle they're fighting is not your responsibility to fix. Your role was to love, to show truth, to reflect their soul back to them, and now heaven is taking over the rest. Don't scroll, because the breakthrough is closer than you think. Something in their heart is shifting. Something in their mind is unraveling. Something in their spirit is waking up. And whether they come forward with honesty, or God replaces them with someone who can match your heart, one thing is guaranteed, you are stepping into a chapter where confusion cannot follow you, where emotional inconsistency cannot drain you, where love will feel like peace, not pain. Heaven is clearing your path. Heaven is exposing every intention. Heaven is preparing you for the kind of love that doesn't make you question your worth. Don't scroll, the shift begins now. Don't scroll, because what's coming next is going to make your spirit feel seen in a way it hasn't felt in a long time, and heaven is urging you to stay right here, right now, because this is the moment revelation meets confirmation, and everything that has been confusing, heavy, or unexplainable in your heart is about to make sense. Listen, the emotional storm you've been carrying hasn't been yours alone. You've been feeling someone else's turmoil bleeding into your energy, someone who loves you more deeply than they ever admitted, someone whose soul recognizes you even when their pride tries not to, someone who has been silently battling a truth they can no longer run from. And heaven says their spirit is overwhelmed, not by you, but by the way you expose the parts of them they've spent years avoiding. Don't scroll, because this is important. They've been surrounded by people who don't want them to grow, don't want them to heal, don't want them to choose love over comfort, and those same people are terrified of the connection they have with you because it threatens every lie, every pattern, every wound that has kept this person emotionally stagnant for so long. But your silence, your pullback, your shift, it broke something in the atmosphere around them. It disrupted the cycle. It forced them to confront the truth that losing access to your energy is not something they can survive with pride alone. They have been replaying moments with you, examining the way you loved them, the things you said, the things you didn't say, the patience you gave, the kindness you carried, and heaven says their heart is aching with realization. Don't scroll. The spiritual pressure they're feeling right now is heaven exposing every false intention around them. Someone who pretended to support them is being revealed. Someone who fed their ego but not their soul is being exposed. Someone who benefited from their confusion is losing influence. And your person, confused, emotional, and conflicted, is starting to understand that the peace they felt with you wasn't ordinary, it was spiritual alignment. Listen, heaven is saying this with urgency. This person has never felt a love as safe, gentle, or divinely aligned as the one you gave them. Their soul knows you are different. Their spirit knows you are rare. Their heart knows you are not replaceable. And that's why they're losing their balance right now. They're waking up to the truth that they mishandled something sacred. Don't scroll. Your absence has been a mirror for them. It showed them what they were taking for granted. It showed them how much they relied on your energy without appreciating your effort. It showed them how deeply they were connected to you even when they pretended not to be. And heaven says, they are realizing that no one else brings them clarity like you do. No one else brings them peace like you do. No one else softens their spirit like you do. But listen carefully. God is not telling you to chase them. God is not telling you to fix them. God is not telling you to put yourself back into a place of emotional sacrifice. Heaven is saying, stand still. Stay centered. Protect your peace. Because this part is not your battle, it is theirs. Don't scroll. You are stepping into a chapter where God will reveal people's intentions before they can speak them. You will see who is for you and who is against you. You will feel instantly who is aligned and who is not. And the person you're connected to is being spiritually separated from anything and anyone that blocks their clarity about you. Heaven is shaking their environment, breaking their illusions, exposing the voices that misled them, and preparing them for one of two things: either they rise to meet you at your level, or heaven sends someone new who already stands where you are. Either way, you win. Either way, you are protected. Either way, confusion ends and clarity begins. Don't scroll, because heaven wants you to absorb this last truth: you were never the problem. You were the blessing they weren't ready for. And now, readiness is being forced. Awakening is being activated. And their soul is being pushed toward truth. Truth about you, truth about themselves, truth about what love actually feels like. Everything is shifting. Everything is aligning. And your heart is finally stepping into the peace it deserves. Don't scroll. Because the moment you begin reading this, something inside you is going to shift, almost like your soul has been waiting for this exact message to land in your hands, and heaven is saying, sit with this, because what comes next will explain everything you've been feeling but haven't understood. Listen closely. The emotional intensity you've been experiencing lately, the random waves of sadness, the sudden chills, the moments where your heart starts racing out of nowhere. That's not anxiety, that's spiritual connection. That's the energetic pull of someone who has been thinking about you obsessively, someone who is finally facing the consequences of their own decisions, someone whose spirit is being forced to confront the truth they tried to avoid. And heaven says this person is not okay right now, not because of anything you did, but because everything they buried is rising to the surface. Don't scroll, because this is where the revelation deepens. Their world is being shaken, not to punish them, but to awaken them. You were the safe space, the healing energy, the peace they didn't know they needed until they lost access to it. And now, without you, everything around them feels louder. Every lie, every distraction, every fake connection, every voice that manipulated them, every person who pretended to care is being exposed under heaven's light. They are seeing the truth about people they trusted, and for the first time, they're recognizing how much they allowed outside influences to interfere with their connection with you. Listen, the reason you've been feeling their energy so strongly is because their soul is calling out for you, trying to reach you even if their pride won't let them speak, and heaven is saying, your spirit hears what their mouth refuses to say. They've been dreaming about you. They've been thinking about moments you shared. They've been replaying conversations, realizing how deeply you cared, how genuine your intentions were, and they're starting to understand that no one else has ever loved them with the purity and authenticity that you did. Don't scroll, this part is important. Someone in their life who once had influence over them is losing that power. Someone who caused confusion, someone who planted doubt, someone who tried to keep them emotionally unstable. Their manipulation is crumbling. Heaven is stripping away every false mask, revealing every hidden motive, exposing every secret conversation that was meant to turn them against you. And now your person is waking up, realizing how blind they've been, how easily they were led, how deeply they hurt someone who only wanted to love them. Listen carefully, heaven says their guilt is real. Their regret is real. Their emotional collapse is real. You may not see it, because they're hiding it behind silence, behind distance, behind distractions, but inside, their soul is trembling. They never expected to lose you. They never expected you to pull back. They never expected the silence to hit harder than any argument ever could. Don't scroll, because heaven needs you to hear this truth. You were not meant to chase them. You were meant to awaken them. Your absence triggered what your presence couldn't. Your silence forced them to hear their own thoughts. Your distance made them feel their own emptiness. And now they are sitting with the reality that you were the one thing in their life that felt real, that felt pure, that felt aligned with their soul. Listen, heaven says you are entering a season where their confusion cannot follow you. Their emotional instability cannot weigh you down. Their indecision cannot drain your spirit. This next chapter is about you stepping into divine clarity, divine alignment, divine self-worth, and heaven is making sure nothing and no one pulls you back into cycles you've already outgrown. Don't scroll, because this final truth is the one your heart has been waiting for. You are not losing anything. They are losing you. And heaven is allowing this separation, whether temporary or permanent, so they can grow into the version of themselves that matches your heart, or so someone better can enter your life with the love you've always deserved. Either way, destiny is moving in your favor. The spiritual shift is happening. And your heart is finally stepping into a place where love will feel safe, stable, and divinely aligned. Don't scroll. Because what you're about to hear is the moment everything in your heart finally clicks into place, the moment heaven pulls back the curtain and reveals why the past weeks have felt so emotionally heavy, spiritually loud, and strangely transformative for you, and God is saying right now, stay here, this is the message your soul has been waiting to hear. Listen closely, the storm you've been walking through wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to reveal every hidden truth that your physical eyes couldn't see but your spirit felt deeply, and heaven is saying the person you're connected to, the one whose energy seemed to linger in your chest even when you tried to let go, the one whose silence felt louder than their words ever did, has reached a point where they can no longer run from the truth you both were spiritually drawn into. Their denial is cracking. Their pride is collapsing. Their fear is melting. And heaven says their soul is crying out, not because of you, but because they are finally seeing themselves clearly, maybe for the first time in years. Don't scroll, because this is the part that will hit your heart hard. This person is realizing that they were given something rare, something divine, something people pray for, but they mishandled it, not out of malice, but out of emotional immaturity, unhealed wounds, and a fear of being truly vulnerable. You were the one thing in their life that wasn't built on ego, trauma, or convenience. You were the one thing that touched their spirit instead of just their surface. And now, heaven says, they are grieving you in silence. They miss you in silence. They replay moments with you in silence. They feel your absence like a physical ache, like a missing piece they can't explain to anyone. Don't scroll, because this is where heaven gets real with you. They've tried to distract themselves. Maybe with people, maybe with work, maybe with hobbies, maybe with silence, but nothing works. Your energy still finds them. Your memory still melts through the noise. Your presence still haunts the places they thought were safe from their feelings. And heaven says, their soul is restless because you were alignment, not attachment. But here's the part your spirit needs most right now: you are not meant to wait for their transformation. Your job was never to heal them. Your job was never to pull them out of their darkness. Your job was never to shrink yourself so they felt comfortable. Heaven is saying, you were a divine catalyst, not their emotional bandage. And the reason things fell apart the way they did wasn't because you weren't enough, it was because your spirit outgrew the version of them that refused to grow. Don't scroll, you're stepping into a season where God is elevating you emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. Your discernment is sharpening. Your peace is becoming non-negotiable. Your intuition is becoming louder than your fears. And heaven is saying, I am removing every person who cannot walk with you into the life you prayed for. The delays were protection. The confusion was redirection. The heartbreak was revelation. And now you're being prepared for a love that matches your soul, not drains it. And listen to this, because this part is divinely timed. The person you're connected to is either going to rise to your level or fall out of your life entirely, because heaven is not allowing half love, half effort, half truth, or half presence anywhere near your spirit anymore. Don't scroll, because heaven wants you to hear this loud and clear: you are not losing anyone. You are being aligned with exactly who and what your soul deserves. And whether it ends with reconciliation, closure, or replacement, one thing is certain. Your next chapter will not feel like pain. It will feel like peace. It will feel like reciprocation. It will feel like real love. And God is saying, I have seen you suffer quietly, love deeply, hope loudly, and break silently, but now it's time for restoration. Your heart is protected. Your path is chosen. Your future is unfolding. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what heaven has already prepared for you.